Hey guys, this is Nelson Alt from AVD. Today I will be showing you exactly how you can make yourself a tapered wing using SolidWorks. So our first step when we want to make a wing is obviously to import our airfoil geometry. So if you go up into the Features tab up here in SolidWorks and you go to the curves, you'll want to do curve through XYZ points. From there, you're going to hit Browse. And then I have my airfoils here, and then make sure you choose text files in this dropdown. So here we have both of them. So this one's the root and this one is the tip. So we're going to start with the root. It's going to be an airfoil that you guys are familiar with, which is the NACA 2412. So we'll import that real quick. And there we have it. So first things first, we're going to notice that it is on the right plane, but it is backwards. So this kind of axis chart in the bottom left shows you the front. So forward Z is going to be to the left. So we'll go normal to the right plane again, and then we're going to flip this bad boy around. So first things first, we're going to sketch on the right plane, which is where this airfoil is at. And then we're going to do a center line just to get the mirror set up. And then we will convert the entities on the, on the curve. Next, we can finally, actually, the fast way to do this is highlight everything. So that includes your mirror line, and you're just going to hit mirror entities, and it's going to do it immediately for you. So we'll delete the sketch of this curve right there. We'll keep that line there for now. We can get rid of it later. But what's important is that we come to the back of the airfoil, connect that here, and then we're going to use a center line to go from the origin, which hopefully that's where all of the airfoils that you have are going to originate from. And then you just draw a straight line all the way back to the midpoint of this line. So we'll do that again because you can start on either side. So you center line, you're going to hold your mouse cursor over this rear line that connects the airfoils, and then you're going to click on the midpoint, and then you'll drag it all the way down to the origin there. Now, whenever you're dealing with the chord line and you're importing your airfoil from airfoil tools, you're gonna want your chord line to be horizontal. For some of you, if you have a highly cambered airfoil, this line will go directly through the bottom of the airfoil, but that's completely fine. This is just for reference. It really doesn't do anything much. Another thing to mention here is that dimensioning is a little tricky. So you're going to want to define your chord length using this line that we put down. In my case, my airfoil is 10 inches. So we'll go ahead and we'll fix that. And something a little upsetting about SolidWorks is that when you draw from the origin here, it doesn't include your airfoil. So you're going to want to click on the point of your chord line and then hold Control and click the airfoil, and then you'll hit coincident. So as you can see, now the airfoil is completely blacked out. That means everything is defined, which is perfect. So we're going to now move on. We're going to exit that sketch and move on to the wingtip. So I'll drag this in here. So I'm just deleting this curve. I'll show you real quick again. I'll right click this, hit delete, and then just hit yes. So next up, we're going to import our wingtip geometry, or airfoil, I should say. We'll do the same thing again using the curves, curve through XYZ points. We're going to browse and then find that airfoil. Make sure you change this to text files. And here's the wingtip. So this airfoil is importing a little funky, but that's fine. That's kind of what I intended, just to kind of show for like an example. So let's see how we can fix this airfoil. So again, we're going to do the convert entities. We're going to click the point here and then just hit, or we're going to click the arc and then just hit the check mark. Now, obviously, if we could move it, that would be awesome, but we cannot unless we delete relations and then all of that stuff. So the easiest way to go about this is to do rotate entities right here. So you're going to choose entities to rotate. You're going to click the line that you just chose, or the airfoil arc that we just created. And then center rotation, you're going to go down to the origin. So now if we increase this, you can see exactly how our airfoil is going to turn out. So if we do 90 degrees, it's going to be upside down, and the wrong way. So we're gonna have to do 270. There we go. After that, we have the same issue where, actually I can show you guys what'll happen. So you can drag this point and move it around, which is fine. But the moment that you add in this line back here, and then you add in your center line, so we'll go from the back again and put it there. And then we can do the same relation, so make this point coincident. Say, for example, you wanted to have a forward tapered wing. So the front part of your wing is going to be swept back, and then the rear has no taper. So if we find the relation for the chord line point and the origin, and we can get rid of that. Now let's just drag our airfoil back. So you're going to see like it's messing up your geometry. This isn't good. It's going to change the the size of your airfoil. And then, okay, we're going to be like, hey, what if we smart dimension it like we did last time? So we'll go ahead and do that. You're going to see that this arc is not defined. Your airfoil is not going to be defined. So even though you can move it back, there'll be times where your airfoil can change size. So like, for example, if we wanted to rotate it, we get rid of this, and then let's see if we can get it here. Oh yeah, but you can still see that the line here is still kind of messed up. So let's delete that. So there's my thing. And then assuming that the airfoil hasn't changed size, which I don't believe it did. Yep, so it still says 6. We will redefine it as 6 inches. Actually, you can tell there. See, it has changed in size. So even though it might not have looked like it, it has. So we're going to revert all the way back. I'm using Control-Z to undo options. And then we're going to do this in a pretty interesting way. So let's redefine this as 6. So we also don't have we didn't undo the coincident origin thing. So if the the aft swept wing is what you wanted, we will run through that really quickly and I will show you how to do that. And then I will move on to kind of like something called a double tapered, which is essentially just a traditional tapered wing, or we can have a forward tapered wing. So let's go ahead and do that before we get it all stuck into the kind of specifics of moving the airfoil. So we'll go ahead and exit there, and we're looking at it and we're saying, well, we can't really do anything here because you can't make a shape out of a 2D plane unless it's literally just a plane. So in order to fix that, we're going to assume that the wingspan is 48 inches. So then like one side of the wing will be 24 inches. The other side is going to be another 24 inches. So we're going to, at the top here in features, we're going to do reference geometry and plane. In the first reference, we're going to select the right plane. So there's this little drop down menu up here that you click, and it shows you all of the features inside of your features and sketches inside of your kind of like tree. So we'll go ahead and click right plane. And we know our wingspan is going to be 48. So we'll do that real quick, but this is only going to be one side of the wing. So we're going to divide that by 2. And you can see exactly how this is panning out. So it's going to be the right plane. It just moved 24 inches further to the, in this case, the left. What we can do from that, we're going to drag this plane up over curve 2. Actually, we can delete curve 2 right now. So that sketch 2 is a feature after this plane. Now this is important because what we're going to need to do is change the sketch plane for sketch 2. So right now, the sketch plane for sketch 2, we sketched it on the right plane. We're going to go to our tree here, and we're going to click on plane 1. So it's going to change the sketch plane to plane 1, and then we're just going to hit OK. So now you can see that our sketch has moved from the center, technically the center of the aircraft, to all the way out here, 24 inches away. And we have closed the rear of the airfoil, which is fantastic. And next up, we're going to do something called a lofted boss base. So we're going to click our outer shape for the airfoil there and the wingtip, and you can see it's matching perfectly. So one thing to keep in mind is you want these green dots to be on the same, like, I guess, relative edge. So if we slide this green line down, it's going to show you like, hey, I can't complete this loft. This doesn't make any sense in terms of the shape. So the top right point here, you need to have that green dot on the same point on this other shape. So if we slide that right back up, it completes the loft. So that's how you do a rear tapered wing. So pretty simple in that sense, but let's say you wanted a mid tapered wing. So the front is going to be tapered, or technically it's going to be swept, and as well as the rear will be swept. So if we delete this loft and we go into sketch 2, which is going to be our wingtip, you can see that the sketch is fully defined. I think even if I try and move this, it doesn't do anything. So if we get rid of the origin coincidence with the chord line, we can delete that, and then we can just drag this around however we want. Again, I think that the airfoil can move around still, essentially because it's not like, it's not all there. Or sorry, it's not all defined technically. So something that we can do is we can highlight everything and do something called Control X. We're going to cut it. So highlight everything and hit Control X, or I think for Mac it's Command X. So yeah, I forgot to mention, if there's any keybind that I say uses Control, just change Control to Command. So we're going to hit Control X here, and it's going to look like it disappears, but it didn't. So if you remember, our wing root chord length is 10 inches and our wing tip chord length is going to be 6. So what we can do, if we want the front there to be, if we want there to be a front taper and a rear taper, we're going to want to subtract 10 minus 6, which gives us 4 inches. So it essentially means that from here to here, the trailing edge of this wing, or airfoil, to the trailing edge of this wing should be 4 inches. So we can double check that real quick. We'll draw a line, center line from here all the way down. And you can see right next to my cursor, it says 4, 180 degrees. That means it's 4 inches. So we have 4 inches that we can move this airfoil around. So if we want it to be symmetrical, I'll do Control Y, which is Command Y, to redo something. And we're going to make a center line from the leading edge, anywhere arbitrarily along the line. It could be to the chord line. It could be like over here. It could be somewhere in the middle. Just don't do something that like adds a relation. So it says midpoint here. You don't want to do that. Next up, we're going to do smart dimension. And then because we want it mid tapered, essentially, we're going to put 2. So it's 10 minus 6, and then split it in half. So that should give you a distance of 2. So we will place that down. We're going to hit Control V to paste the airfoil back down. And then again, we're going to highlight the airfoil. We're not going to hit Control A to select everything because that gets this line down here. So highlight your airfoil again. Now hold Control and this point right here. What it does is it makes a duplicate. So what you can do is then move the airfoil without it changing any sort of dimensions that you have. And then you can move it in a place that you want. So we moved the leading edge of the airfoil to this 2-inch line here. And then we can go ahead and exit sketch, and then we will do the loft. And then you can see exactly how it's going to be on the aircraft. So you've got 2 inches from this leading edge to this leading edge. And then you have 2 inches from this trailing edge to this trailing edge, because we're looking at it from technically the front or the leading edge of the airfoil or the wing. So you can do the exact same thing with a forward tapered wing. This time we can do it pretty easily. So we'll go ahead and delete the loft one more time. We're going to go back into sketch 2. We're going to delete this relation. I think, yep. So it's still kind of like stuck on the chord line here. For safety, because it's moved, I will hit Control Z and then Control A, and then Control X. So if you remember when we did a rear swept wing, so rear tapered, the leading edge of the wingtip and the wing root kind of were in the same location. So it would be up here, and then it'd have the airfoil, and the airfoil would stop around here. For a forward swept, or sorry, for a leading edge that is tapered, the trailing edges are going to match. So if we do the same thing, we still have it kind of copied in our, I guess, clipboard in this sense. So we can paste with Control V again, but instead of holding Control and clicking on the leading edge, we will go ahead and hold Control on this rear point there. Make sure everything is highlighted. It may be a visual bug that I was seeing there. So hold Control and then just click again. Well, I guess I have to zoom out for it, unfortunately. So let's see. You can also do, well, let me Control X, and then I'll just paste it down here where it's a little easier to see the midpoint. So you can tell there's 3 points. This one is in the center. So we're going to highlight it. We're going to zoom in so that we can see the midpoint for this airfoil shape and this one here. So you can tell that this one is the midpoint. We'll hold Control and then just move it to the trailing edge there. So we'll zoom in and check and make sure it's fine. And it lines up. So we did a good job. We're going to delete the airfoil on the bottom, and then we're going to do another loft. So in order to do a loft, you have to exit sketch, do lofted boss base, select both of your airfoils, and then just hit the check mark. So there is a forward tapered wing, so that the trailing edge is straight.